so this won't even be on there. I'll just edit all this out. What?
You got notes.
And that's the first, huh? Just in case. Just in case. All right, what's up, everyone? This is our first ever formal introduction because we never even do this, right? We always just go me, Hallman, Andrew, and whoever else we have. But we wanted to do this differently today because this is special. We have Fallon Klepper on. If you don't know who she is, you better get ready for this. She is, I'm going to hope I get this right. She is a national champion, national high school champion. She won it this year. And not only that, and I want to emphasize that that's what she is, right? Just a national champion in fishing in the high school. And she's the first girl to ever do it. So we thought this would be a perfect opportunity to have her on. The reason we get to have her on, honestly, is because she's down from my neck of the woods. She lives down there in Conroe area, and fishes Conroe a lot. I've fished against her dad quite a bit. If y'all know, we've had Russell Cecil on. Russell and her dad compete all the time. And I'm sure you've competed against Russell, correct?
I have.
Okay, so you know Russell as well. Of course, me, Hallman, Russell, we're all good buddies. So so we wanted to have her on and go into a whole bunch of different things and basically grill her to death about a whole bunch of stuff because we're kind of interested in all this, and we might even throw some advice in there your way. What do you think, Hallman?
Yeah, it starts off strong. She's got antlers out of over her head right now.
Yeah.
She's got the Euro mount.
So you're a junior. You were a junior, about to be a senior, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you got one more year. All right. Here's the first thing I want to know. In case anyone, I want to know about your path to the championship. Like we didn't have high school fishing when we were younger. And so in a lot of basically high school anglers don't know, and pretty much I guarantee you, of the high school anglers, a lot of girls don't even know. Like, so what was your path to get there? Like, what did you have to do?
So I had a THSBA tournament on Conroe. Well, the weekend before there was a TBF tournament that came into town, and it was on Conroe. And
that's a federation tournament, correct? Okay.
I didn't want to fish it because I didn't want to go stick our fish right before. Well, we ended up 3 days before the tournament started, we ended up entering it, and fish were on beds then. And we sign up, we get there, we have a meeting the day before, and I was just like, okay, we might do good, we might not, this is just practice. Well, we ended up going out there and catching 25 pounds on the state championship that we had, and we got first place at that tournament, and that granted us to go to nationals. And it was I was like, there's no way I'm going to nationals right now. And we had an 8-pound lead in front of everybody, so that was pretty cool too.
Well, so why didn't you want to go to nationals?
I did, but I didn't ever think I would ever be able to make it there.
Oh, really? Okay. But you wanted to go if you got the chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about nationals. That's when you went straight to Pickwick, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How many teams were there?
So we fished 2 different tournaments at nationals. There was Worlds and then nationals that were 2 different tournaments at the same time. So I was fishing 2 tournaments at the same time, and nationals had 236 and Worlds had 416.
On Pickwick.
On Pickwick. And it was a 3-day event, correct?
Yes. And then Worlds, the top 30 fished on Saturday.
And you went to that as well?
Yes.
So was that, so did only the top 30 in the nationals go as well? Or no, did some go from the nationals till Saturday, or just you as the winner?
No. So the top 10 from nationals went to Worlds.
Okay.
And then the top 20 from they had their own separate tournament, I guess. And if you made nationals, you automatically fished worlds there. And the top 20 out of like everybody from that was just fishing worlds made it to day 4 or whatever. Yeah, 4.
So did you win world too?
No, I got 20th in that.
But nationals, you won nationals.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you had, so tell them you gotta split. What'd you do on Pickwick? Like what'd you do?
So first we started fishing by the Wilson Dam, and we didn't do bad there, but there was too many like walleye on like the little bridge pylons there, so we decided not to do that. So we ran down the lake 42 miles, and we went down there and we were just like graphing a lot. Like that's all we did. Like we sat in the boat all day, and we pulled up on this spot where a ledge was, and we pulled up there, and I was throwing a shaky head and my dad was throwing a crankbait, and he threw down there and he caught a 5-pounder, and then I set the hook on a 4-pounder, and he goes, okay, we can leave. We're coming here in the morning. So that was like pretty much it. Like we had a good practice, but that was definitely where we stayed in the tournament. So it was really good.
How many days of practice did they give you guys on Pickwick for the nationals?
We got 2.5 days, but on the like half day, we didn't go out there at all.
So you have a team partner too. Did y'all practice separate from each other and then get in the boat together on tournament day, or did you practice together?
We practiced together.
Okay.
And you and him had never been there?
No.
Or your dad? So I guess your dad was the captain, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so what'd y'all catch day 1?
We had 18 pounds for
How much?
18 pounds for 3.
What was y'all's lead after day 1?
5 pounds.
Were y'all like, okay, so
tell us about that day. How does that day start off?
Yeah.
With 400 boats.
So we were boat 309. So we were one of the last people to go out. And so we made a 42-mile run all the way there. And there was 2 other boats that were already there. Well, we were not even there 10 minutes, and my partner sets the hook on a 615. And I was like, oh my goodness, like we're on the mother load right now. And then right after that, like 5 minutes later, I set the hook, and then my partner sets the hook at the same time. So we had to like double net our fish, and that was a 4-pounder and another 6.
Oh my God.
We could go early weigh-in if we wanted to. So we just like idled back to weigh in, like going like 30 miles an hour, and went back to weigh in to go weigh in.
Were you worried about those other boats?
No, I wasn't that, just because they were on like the other side of it, but like they weren't throwing like anything that we were throwing. They were throwing like jigs and stuff like that, and we never caught anything on a jig. So
were you worried about them coming over there?
no, we made friends with them, so it was like really good.
That's never happened, Hallman.
That's going to change.
Yeah. You win another one of those. That will never happen. I mean, yeah, you're public enemy number 1 now. You just don't realize it.
So if you weren't catching them, what did you guys end up getting bid on? You said they weren't throwing what you guys were throwing.
We were getting bid on shaky heads, 5/16.
Big worms or short worms on them?
You might have cut out what?
Big worms? Big worms or small worms on the shaky head?
Small worms.
Okay. That's crazy. So here's what I want to know. So I've been and actually me and Hallman don't talk about this ever. I don't think I've ever asked Hallman this. We both won quite a few events and led quite a few events from the get-go. So I know the last tournament. So the last big one Hallman won, the Lanier one, he won from start to finish. The first one I ever did, like the first bit, we won some like individual, one day and a 2-day here and there. But the first one was Toledo Bend for me. We both had big leads. I don't know if we both had 5-pound leads, but what's that like? Like, does anyone really know what that's like? Like that from when you get off the water and and then trying to go to bed that night. What's like, explain how that's like.
Oh, I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I was so worried. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta keep the lead. I gotta keep the lead. And it took me forever to go to sleep that night.
I would love to tell you it gets better, but when you're younger, when you're younger, there's a point in there where it gets a little better. But then as you get older, I'm just letting you know, and Hallman, correct me if I'm wrong, like you start realizing that there's only so many more of those. Like when you're young, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be in this position again, no big deal. And then you get older and you're like, man, this is it almost is worse when you get older. Would you agree, Hallman?
Yeah, 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 because you know that your days are numbered at competing at that high of a level.
Yeah.
What was day 3 like whenever you come in? And was it like, were you guys going to blow it away, or was it like you're nervous wreck if whether or not you're going to have enough weight? What was that like?
I was very nervous because going to day 3, we only had a 1 ounce lead rather than 5. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh. And that morning we caught a 7-8, and I was like, okay, we might have it. And then caught 2 smaller fish after that. And then we weighed in, and of course we're the last team to weigh in. And I was shaking so bad. And then the second place was behind us. They walked up to us and they were like, what do y'all have? And I was like, oh, we probably got like 10, 11 pounds. Well, and they're like, well, congratulations, y'all won, because we only have 7. And at that moment, I broke down. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm about to win this. And like the tournament director had to like come over and like calm me down because I was like freaking out. I was shaking so. It was so awesome.
This was the hosted it was FLW, correct?
MLF.
MLF or okay. So who was there? Do you remember the tournament director?
Joey, I can't remember his last name.
Well, so I know in a lot of our events, they tell that we don't care what they say, but they are very adamant about not letting us know anyone else's weights. They go to us in the weigh-in line, like, we don't want y'all to talk, whatever. We don't listen to them at all. I mean, if at all possible, we are trying to like find, especially if you're the one in the lead,
right?
You're just trying to figure out what everyone's got, because it's the worst. It's the worst sitting in that line, not knowing.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, is that last day after it's over and everybody's got their fish and you don't know if you got enough to win or not. That's always the hardest part.
Yes, it is.
What was the prize for winning first place as a national champion, high school national champion? What was the prize?
So I got a big trophy that weighs like 50 pounds. And then I got $250,000 in scholarships.
Wow. $250,000 in scholarships?
Yes,
Jeez.
sir.
Wow.
Okay, well okay, well, hold on. For you and your partner, or just for you?
For me and my partner. But then
that doesn't matter. That's incredible.
I got a separate one for being the first girl. So
really?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow. Well, good. That's gonna lead me right into my next deal. How did there's no, like, I know my story. I kind of know Hallman's story. Like, how did you start all this? Because I guarantee you, let me guess. I'm guessing 5 years ago, probably less than that, 3 to 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I bet you never thought this is where you'd be.
No, never.
Like, so how did that all begin? How did you start? Because like, I know me, I always fished and stuff, but it was somewhere in high school where I almost started choosing it to be, I thought I wanted it to be this career, although I didn't know what that meant. It was just, I just knew I wanted to fish more than I wanted to play sports and do all that. Like, so where did all that start with you?
It started my freshman year of high school. I also played softball at that time for my high school. And like, as soon as softball season started, it like interfered with my fishing. And I thought I was going to take softball more seriously. And then I ended up quitting softball to go fish. And that year I won Angler of the Year. So it like kind of started like right there. And everybody like on my fishing team, they were kind of rude at first because I was a girl. And they told me that I couldn't do it and stuff like that. Well, I proved them wrong. So now they're like my brothers and my best friends. So
Yeah, I say you proved them wrong. All right. Are you wanting to fish in college? Are you,
I haven't really thought about it yet. I want to, but all the scholarships I've gotten have been like really far, like out of state, and I'm really close with my family, so I don't really want to go that far.
I understand that.
Are those scholarships dependent on you fishing?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So they're just scholarships for like they don't require you to fish for that college. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, they
but if you don't want to fish, then you can I'm pretty sure you can use that scholarship money for like academic scholarship also if you
awesome.
want.
Okay. Okay.
Fallon, is bass fishing or tournament fishing something that you want to pursue in your life? Is it like your passion? Or is it more something like you kind of see as high school as playing sports and it's something you're enjoying in this part of your life?
I think I'm definitely gonna do it whenever I get older, just because I've put so much time and effort into this sport, like my blood, sweat, and tears,
Mhm.
and I definitely would not want to quit and it just like I'll be thrown away.
So is it something that you want to chase as a career possibly as you get older?
Probably.
Cool. Cool.
Well, I know we've got some thoughts on that because, and we talked when all this went down, we were, I think me and Russell were about to fish a tournament on Rayburn, and we ended up doing this kind of deal with Russell, and we were talking about it all. And so we talked a lot about you, like a lot about, I hate to put this on you, but we talked a lot about like what you specifically could do for this industry because, man, there's a lot that can come with it. And there's like a lot of doors that will open for you, opportunities that you have if you take them. And so I don't know. I'm sure Hallman's thought about this a lot.
Well, you're 17, right? So you're going to be a senior in high school next year?
Yes, sir.
I actually have 3 daughters, and my oldest is actually the exact same age that you are. She'll be a senior in high school next year. Now, she doesn't fish, but it hasn't been from the lack of me trying, but she's not interested in it.
Right.
But I have never understood. So, like you're talking about the boys giving you a hard time when you were a freshman about being a girl in the sport. To me, there's no reason. And I've done this at all levels. I've been on the Elite Series, the FLW MLF tours. I've done it all. I've won at every level that FLW has. There is no reason why a woman could not compete at the same level as the men do in this sport. And this is what I tell my girls, is like half the guys that Todd and I compete against on a daily basis can't turn a screwdriver. Like they can't fix something. So like if something's broke, so that's not a holdback, right? Because a lot of these tournaments, these boats, we have service crews and different things and stuff breaks, but like half those guys can't fix anything. My daughter could fix more than some of those guys could. There's no physical holdback other than, you know what it is because you've been doing it. You've been blood, sweat, and tears in it. You know what the weather is and the cold and the rain and the long practice days. The limit, the sky's wide open for women to come into this sport and compete at a very high level. And I think the industry, what Todd's talking about in opportunities, the amount of money that you could make and make a living and support a family would be astronomical. It would be much easier for the very first women that come in and have some success to be able to hold down, a career and a very lucrative career at that. And I'm all for it. I think that, I've thought this for years. I thought it with my girls. If any of my girls ever showed that much interest in it, I'd be more than willing to show them the ropes. But none of them are that interested. I've got a son that's not interested either. So it's not that thing. But I think it's awesome that your dad has carried you around and put you in those positions in 15 tournaments, because it's obvious he spent a lot of time with you doing that. And I'm just telling you from a guy that's been there, there's no reason to listen to anyone or think that someone's thinking bad of you or talking bad about you, because honestly, once you step off that dock on the front deck, it's just between you and your ears anyway about how to catch fish, and nothing else really matters. Big ones matter. You obviously learned that catching a 7-pounder on the last day. Big ones matter. And if you put big ones in the boat and you come in at the end of the day, it's you know, it's up to the scale, and the scale doesn't care if you're male, female, or alien. And I felt that way about it a long time. What about you, Todd?
Well, I mean, so I would say it's not going to get, you're still going to hear probably some stuff about being a girl, but I don't think it will be as much even in college, because I think high school fishing and college fishing has grown up to be this male female deal. Like, so what we're talking about is mainly when we fish, we're not fishing against too many females. So there is this kind of, I'm not like you got to realize my whole background. My wife is a strength coach. She has been a woman in a male dominated sport, profession, everything. So I have seen, even at her level, backlash from being a woman, big time. I mean, because she's out there, you know, as a strength coach, she's in college when she was one for years. When she's out there yelling at a, 270-pound freaking defensive lineman in his face, I don't want to say cussing him up and down, but she was. I mean, just getting on him. The athletes, every single athlete respected her more than I could say. It was amazing how much they respected her, because she cared about him, she knew about him, and she made him better. It was more or less the older men, coaches, the good old boy. Those were the ones that were the bad. The athletes loved her, and she coached both male and female. It didn't matter, but I would like to say that's not going to be down their way. I think the college, you're good, because I think they're used to being. I don't think there's a disconnect from there. As you got older, there might be a little bit, but like I said, what will come with it is so much more. You can get so much more respect too, because to be honest with you, if you go that route, there's no one ahead of you. I mean, you can be that first one that like has some real success. We're talking real, like you could have finished in the top 10 and go, hey, you could have been the first girl ever to make it, but it wasn't. Like, you won it. Like that's something to be said for that. So I think that's against like 400 people, like 400 teams, like that's huge. So, and this isn't the first time. I know what y'all have done back home, and it wasn't a luck to get there, right? You had to go beat a bunch of people to get there. So I think if you got there, man, I think the sky's the limit as far as the fishing and the industry. And I think Hallman was talking about, like, Russell, we all talk about how we got here, and we just got back from ICAST. Did you go to ICAST?
Yes.
Okay. So what were your thoughts, before I go any further, what were your thoughts on ICAST?
Well,
As a whole, as a whole of like, did you expect it? Did you think it was what you thought it would be?
No. I thought it was going to be a lot smaller than what it was, and it wasn't. There were so many people there, and it was just like crazy. And I met so many people, and I had people like walking up to me and like, you're Fallon, right? I was like, yes. And it was just like crazy.
And I don't want to say they're not fans, so hear me out, but they're not public there. Like, that is all, you had to be invited, just as you were. And so those people there, when we talked about this the other time with Bradley and Russell, about the different opportunities in fishing, you could go the fishing route, or you can still go the fishing route and somewhere in the industry. So basically 99% of the people you met there, the people in the booth, those people were all in the industry. That's what we call like industry jobs. The others were like either sales reps and things like that, which you could still go into. But that's why we always tell people that, like, man, you can still be in the fishing industry and still fish. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, Hallman,
Oh yeah, there's tons, whether it's in sales or marketing or, working for one of these companies, there's lots of different avenues, but, tournament fishing is not the only one, but that's obviously we're discussing with her, since she won the high school national championship. I would like to see you carry on through college and fishing in college, wherever you go, end up in school. Even there in Texas, all those Texas schools have fishing teams, a lot of them. I understand the staying close to home thing. I get that. I do. But I know a bunch of those kids right now that are down there in Texas and a lot of those schools that have fishing teams, but that's not the only way either. You know, there's other ways to skin this cat if tournament fish is what you wanted to do through BFLs and different things like that. What other circuits, what other things do you fish? Whether you fish with your dad or what else do you compete in? What other trails?
I fish for THSBA, which is like my high school, like what my high school fishes. And then I fish TBF SAF, which is Student Angler Federation. And then I also fish our local like Tuesday night tournaments with my dad.
That's awesome.
Beating up on Russell. Have you thought about like so I went to SFA. I knew nothing about SFA. Like I knew nothing about all the people from Cold Spring were going to go to Sam for the most part. And what Sam's probably 30 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I wanted to get a little bit further away. I don't know why. But the reason I picked SFA, even though I had never fished Rayburn before, I was like, SFA, it's next to Rayburn in Toledo. And I just had this thought that as a freshman in college, I'm gonna be going over there and fishing those, which I never fished Rayburn for the entire year I was over at SFA. I don't know what I was thinking, but I still live here now, and it was literally because of Rayburn and Toledo. So I eventually did start fishing those lakes. But I mean, it's crazy to think that, but I did it. Like, have you thought about, I mean, isn't that a big deal? Like where you go to school, like what lakes near it and how it could play into your career?
Yes, it does. See, I want to go to Tarleton State, which is up by Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. And I'm not very good at those lakes up there. So going up there, I think it would be good for me to like get some more practice there.
If that's where you want to go, I think I have the hookup, like the hookup. So one of the finest young men that I've met, he would probably be a sophomore next year, possibly a junior. I think he is very heavily involved. If he's not the head cheese there.
It's not Clay, is it?
It is Clay.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I think that's where Clay is, Carleton State, because he's from Fort Worth, lives in Fort Worth, and he goes to Carleton State. They've got a huge fishing team.
Yeah.
What's the name of the school?
T with a T.
That's what I said, Carleton.
Oh, it's not okay.
Is that not correct?
Yeah, Oklahoma accent. It's weird.
Yeah. I am north of the border, so my accent does get a little. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where he is. They do have a big fishing team. Is that right, Fallon?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What other interests do you have? Like, what would you want to go to school? What would you want to major in?
I want to major in animal science.
Don't look at me. I don't. I probably wasn't smart enough to do all that. That's why I chose fishing. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, if not, have you thought about anything else about, like I said, so when I just went fishing, I didn't know anything else. I just fished tournaments and did all that stuff. And I like how your strategic move is, I don't know how to fish that way, so I'm going to go surround myself around lakes that fish that way. Like that, I think that's pretty cool. But like, even with my job right now with Strike King, like I knew obviously there were people that were designing baits, but when I was your age, I didn't think about that as being a job. So I didn't even think about that till much later, and didn't even realize that I could ever, like, I don't know how those people got. I'm always still amazed at like how people get certain jobs. But like I said, this industry, what you just got to go witness at ICAST is truly what most people will never get to realize. I mean, because no one ever usually gets to go. And then you got to see all the people you get to meet. And I'm sure you met, like, it's a one time where I swear you'll understand this one day. So we were always having to talk to like companies, or there'll be a company that we need for like something for a boat or electronics or something. And some of those people aren't great at emails. Like they don't know, they still haven't figured out how the email works. Maybe they don't know what the internet is or a computer. I don't know. But yeah, I saw a guy. I saw a guy at you know how they wear their little name tags, or
Mhm.
their, or little deals. I saw a guy. I'm not going to say who it is, but I saw him. I'm like, he's real. Like this guy exists, because I've never known him to answer anyone's email, but I saw him there at ICAST. He actually does. He does exist. I just thought it was a name they associated with it. Like, hey, email him. But what I'm getting at is you get to meet these people. They don't have a chance to ignore your email. They have to kind of talk to you. So it is, like I said, ICAST is a great way to meet a lot of people in the industry. I'd say a lot of important people. And like I said, you just never know. In this industry, it's so small. When you meet them, they will remember you. Like you could send them an email, 6 months later, and I promise you everyone will remember. So that is the cool thing about it.
Right.
So while y'all were having that conversation, I couldn't help but do it. So I hit Clay up, and yeah, he's at Tarleton State University. That's where you're talking about, correct? And he's
Yes.
the president of their fishing team, president, whatever it's called. He's the
Mhm.
head chief. He's like, wow, share my contact with her. But he's one of the best young men that we've met. And
He's traveled
Andrew,
with us.
he's traveled with us. He's great. I mean, he's 14 karat gold. But yeah, they'd be excited about that. They would like
Thank-
that a lot. That'd be awesome.
There you
Yes, it
go.
would.
Well, so some other things. So like so there's always these things within that we do. Like tell me some things that you've done in the fishing deal that this is your time to brag. Okay. I know, but listen, it is. Like what are some things that you're really proud of? Like is there like a big fish deal, like something in a tournament, like, and it can be small local, but listen, those small local tournaments, like I know those Tuesday nighters, like I know those Tuesday nighters, and they are different from almost everywhere in the country. The people that fish those, they have a ton of money. Russell's over there. I mean, most people have to go. We have to fish against Russell in our events. So I mean, having him on a home lake, that he's probably known, but he probably knows that lake better than. Well, your dad might not like me saying this, but okay, your dad and him probably know it better than anyone. They've been battling for years. Is there something like that, like that you're really, really proud of, but it might not be known that's what you've accomplished?
Mhm. On the Tuesday nighters, me and my dad won second angler of the year. I'm pretty sure Russell got angler of the year that year, and one of like my big accomplishments was catching my personal best in a Tuesday night tournament, and I caught
Hold on. I have a feeling, Hallman, that it might be bigger. I don't know what your personal best is, Hallman, but there's a good chance this is bigger than yours.
Probably so.
Let's hear it.
11:06.
Bigger than anything I've ever caught in my life.
I knew
Never
it.
got.
I don't
never
know
had.
why I knew it.
Yeah.
And
Bigger than anything I've ever caught.
it's not fair. It's not fair because I always will make this thing that's saying, hey, look, don't get me wrong, 11 pounder, like it's giant, right? Like 99% of most people will never catch an 11 pounder. It helps that you live on Conroe because, like, I agree. Like, I lived on Livingston. Now, if you'd have told me Livingston, you fished Livingston before, right?
Yes.
What's your biggest one there? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's. I grew up on that place. I know Conroe's right down the road, but yeah, Livingston was like, you catch a 7 pounder on Livingston, it's like a 14 anywhere else. But
Yeah.
Conroe does have, but it doesn't take it away that, like, yeah, you're still going to have that over pretty much 99% of the people you meet, Fallon, just think in the back of your head going, I probably caught a bigger fish than this person, whoever it is you're talking to.
Fallon, if I caught an 11 pounder up here on Grand Lake, the newspaper outdoor riders would be coming up from Oklahoma City and Tulsa just to take pictures. It would be a big deal for sure.
That's awesome.
You did win big bass, right?
I did.
Because every once in a while, Russell will be like we fished a Tuesday nighter, and is it always 3 or 5 for y'all?
It's 3.
Okay, yeah. And we're like, yeah, we got 18. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, we got third. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, there's a 23 and a 21. I'm like, three, right? So I mean, that place, not always. Then you look up and he's like, we won it with 11. And I'm like, 11? It's really good and really, really hard sometimes.
How was Pickwick? Was that your first time on TVA system? I would imagine. First time
Yes.
you ever fished on TVA system. That whole river and the current thing, was that a really eye-opening experience for you? How they get a whole bunch of fish in one little spot?
Yes, because fish like don't. I've never like been on a school of fish before, so being on that was so different than like anything I've ever fished before. And I don't really like to fish deep. I like to fish like docks and stuff like that. So that was also a lot different for me too.
Wow. That island's a big deal there. That's cool that you guys found them that way. Taking out
Mhm.
boat 306, how many spots did y'all have to go to that you wanted to try the first morning when you said there was
We had four, but there were like people like all like on the other ones. So then we were like, okay, we were gonna go here first, so let's just go
Mhm.
here. And then we ended up not going to another spot the whole time.
really never even went, just stayed put?
Hmm.
But see, Conroe, so I do know a little bit of his, like, so Russell does know just about how everyone fishes
Mhm.
on Conroe. So like I know how your dad fishes. He might not realize it, but I do. Because like it's a funny thing that the way Conroe fishes, which it has these giants in it, and sometimes you can catch them power fishing.
Mhm.
Your dad does not. I hope I'm not giving everyone knows your dad's not power fishing all the time. He's more of the, I don't want to say finesse, but more finesse. So like when you get on a lake like Pickwick like that, like you said, everyone throwing jigs and stuff, and y'all do something a little bit different. A lot of times those fish haven't seen that. So they're probably, I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably why y'all were able to excel so well. I'm assuming that's what y'all did, how y'all fished.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Shaky head 101. Well, I think it's awesome, Fallon. I do. I think it's cool that that's what you want to do and go after it, because I mean, the sky's the limits. I know there's a lot of people going to be behind you and watching you. I think it's incredible that you won the high school national championship. I talked to a lot of dads and a lot of kids around here that all fish high school. I know it's very competitive with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of kids across the country competing in it. It's actually one of the things that I've been talking with some people at Bass and a couple of them at MLF about, is the fact that, the sport's grown so much that there's so many of you high school kids. And then on these top level pro circuits, you basically, you're telling people that you're going to take one or two or three out of 225 people or 250. And like, you're not opening the door for all the growth that you've created over the last 10 or 15 years in the industry. And that part's got to be worked on, but you got a little ways before you get there. But I wish you all the luck in the world. I think it's awesome. Congratulations on winning the high school national championship. Huge accomplishment. You'll have that trophy the rest of your life. And I think that's awesome. Your team partner's name, what's his name? Throw it out there too.
His name's Wyatt Ford.
Wyatt. You guys have fished together for 3 years, right? Since your freshman year, y'all been on the same team.
Yes.
So y'all both have one more year together?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
So I mean, because that helps. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been lucky to fish with a lot of the guys, like Russell now for going on 8 or 9 years. Man, it does help when you can fish with someone that long. It makes it all easy, good and bad. You fight like probably brothers and sisters at time. I know. Hey, that's all right. Like me and Russell fought like brothers before too, and but since we're so close, it's no big deal.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I think me and Hallman we probably still got some more advice for you. But we might do that off air because I think you can go a long ways.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on with us. We're big fans of yours now.
Thank you.
All right. Well, is there any, man, this is weird. I don't know if there's anything, or even if you want that, do you even care about social media? Do you want it? give a shout out to anyone or anybody?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my partner just because he helped me. Wyatt Ford, I'm pretty sure his Instagram is Wyatt Ford Fishing. And then I'll give a shout out to my dad because he's been there for me the whole time since I was 2 years old. And anytime I ask to go fishing, he never turns it down. And I love him. So
I was hoping that's who you were going to shout out to. He's a good dude. I like him. So, all right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed it. Like I said, holler at us, leave a comment. Hopefully Fallon might even get on and read some of the comments and answer y'all too if she wants to. We'll let y'all know. So anyways, see y'all guys.